What happens when an entire galaxy bans the deployment of human armies, but forgets to ban human tourists? They thought they'd cripple our military presence. Instead, they triggered the single most chaotic, unpredictable force ever unleashed in astrophysics. Humans with cameras, opinions, and absolutely no sense of personal danger. If you want to know how it happened, why the galaxy panicked, and how you ended up standing at the center of the most absurd peacekeeping mission in recorded history, stay with me. And before we dive deeper into this journey, don't forget to support the channel. Your one touch keeps these bedtime adventures alive. Now, relax, close your eyes a little. Let me take you back to where it all began. The banning of human armies, it started with a vote. The Interstellar Senate, a council older than warp travel itself, passed an emergency decree. No recognized species shall deploy organized military forces within contested, colonized, or diplomatically active space. The rule was designed for everyone, but everyone knew it was aimed at us. Humans had earned a reputation, fair or not, for turning every battlefield into a masterclass in chaotic genius. The galaxy feared our adaptability, our stubbornness, our ability to turn any scrap of metal into a weapon. So the ban passed, unanimously. No armies, no fleets, no power armor, no marines, no orbital drop forces. Earth's governments protested, of course, but you can't argue with billions of aliens pointing at footage of humans using mop buckets, broken drones, or even sandwiches as improvised weapons. So we complied, or at least we appeared to. The loophole: nitrogen monoxide. One expected. The Senate's decree was 2,700 pages long. Only one thing was missing: a definition of tourist. And this, some historians will later claim, was the single biggest oversight in galactic legislative history. Humanity didn't plan a rebellion, didn't arm civilians, didn't smuggle soldiers under false passports. All we did was open every travel visa office on Earth and plaster the stars with ads. Visit the galaxy, see alien worlds, record cultures, document history firsthand. Discount group packages available. Within 2 weeks, 18 million humans signed up for off-world tourism, all armed with only cameras, drones, backpacks, questionable curiosity, and absolutely zero fear of being vaporized. No weapons, no armor, no soldiers, just humanity. Raw, unfiltered, and disastrously enthusiastic. You were never meant to go. You were a historian, a quiet one at that, someone far more comfortable with dusty archives than warp-jump ferries. But the government didn't want soldiers. They wanted observers, narrators, people who understood stories. And your name ended up in the file of people who accidentally fit the legal loophole. Whether by fate or a very tired clerk, you were chosen. Your first assignment. Your ship touches down on Corellon 4, a small, contested world where two alien species, the crystalline Veshtai and the serpentine Huuri, have been fighting for 900 years. But under the Senate's decree, they now have to de-escalate. No armies allowed, no weapons allowed, no troop presence, just diplomats. And unfortunately for them humans with cameras, as you step off the ramp, you expect hostility. You expect suspicion. You expect someone to ask if your backpack hides a secret nuke. Instead, a Veshtai ambassador rushes forward, glowing in delicate shades of blue frustration. Human. It shouts. This is a restricted conflict zone. You are not allowed to. You smile politely and raise your badge. Tourist. The ambassador freezes. Its crystalline eyes rotate. Its entire body flickers in panic. Tourist? You nod and gesture to your holo camera. Here to document culture, landscapes, traditions, food, history. No nitrogen monoxide. The Veshtai cries, flickering violently. Humans destabilize everything. You wander into artillery zones. You pet carnivorous wildlife. You ask combatants to pose naturally during firefights. You shrug. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what we do. The aliens tremble. They can't expel you. The decree forbids blocking civilian travel without due cause. And humans somehow, impossibly, have become civilians now. You see Huuri observers slithering forward, watching you with deep distrust. They whisper to each other. Is that one of the documentarians? I heard humans approach active war zones for better lighting. They say humans argue with missiles. A Huuri elder steps forward, coils tightening. Human, this is our sacred battlefield. We demand you stay behind our safety perimeter. You check your map, your backpack, your curiosity. No problem. But can someone guide me to the ancient ruins near the ridge? They look historically significant. A collective groan ripples through both species. The chaos begins. Your tour lasts 20 minutes. Exactly 20. After that, everything falls apart. First, 3 humans from another group wander into a forbidden temple and accidentally activate a 1,000-year-old energy barrier. Then a family of vloggers live streams a Huuri ceremonial dance, not realizing it's a funerary rite reserved only for chiefs. The Huuri panic, the Veshtai panic. The humans think it's a great cultural opportunity. But the worst, the absolute worst, is when a 14-year-old Earth tourist spots a Veshtai artillery relic half buried in the sand and says the cursed words, "Dad, can you take a picture of me climbing it?" And the entire galaxy shivers. Because humans will climb anything. Mountains, ruins, live reactors. The backs of giant alien creatures they've never seen before. Anything. You witness the moment. The Veshtai elder tries to stop the kid. The Huuri warriors scream warnings. But humans don't hear warnings. They hear challenge. The kid scrambles up the artillery cannon, camera flashing. The relic begins to activate its energy cells, roaring to life for the first time in centuries. You leap forward, diving into the sand to pull the child down. The cannon fires a harmless but spectacular beam into the sky, lighting up the atmosphere in swirling ribbons of blue fire. Tourists cheer. Aliens faint. The Senate receives 12,000 formal complaints within the hour. And then, because fate is cruel, hundreds of humans show up to take pictures with the glowing cannon. Wow! Can you get one from below? Dude, the lighting is insane. #ancient alien artillery. It spreads like wildfire across human social feeds. Within 12 hours, starliners arrive carrying 10,000 more tourists. By day 3, Portland IV is overwhelmed. War stops completely, not because diplomacy succeeds, but because neither side can move through the crowds of humans taking panoramic pictures. And you, somehow, are at the center of it. The meeting that changed everything, a secret emergency envoy meeting, is called. Every alien species participates. You sit in the center, a bewildered civilian surrounded by ambassadors glaring at you like you personally detonated a star. The G-Tai ambassador speaks first. Human, explain yourselves. How is this not warfare? You swallow hard. Because we aren't soldiers. Your people scaled a sacred artillery cannon. Tourists do that. You disrupted 2 millennia of tradition. Tourists do that. Your people have illegally mapped our restricted zone with drones. That's absolutely something tourists do. The room erupts in outrage, panic, and cosmic anxiety. You raise your hand. Look, you banned our armies. So Earth complied, but humans still want to see the galaxy, to record it, to appreciate it. We're not breaking the law, just bending it a little. A dozen ambassadors slam their tendrils, claws, or crystalline limbs onto the floor. A Reluvian noble hisses, "Your civilians are more dangerous than your military." You nod thoughtfully. "Yeah, that's fair." The Senate chair speaks. "We must decide how to deal with your people. This cannot continue. You feel your heart thudding. You didn't want to be here. Didn't plan to cause a crisis. You just wanted to record history. But something shifts inside you. A bigger thought. A dangerous one. What if, you begin slowly, this chaos is actually helping? The room falls still. You continue. You banned armies to stop war. But human tourists have done what diplomats couldn't. They've made the battlefield unusable. They've forced a ceasefire not through violence, but through inconvenience. This is the moment everything changes. The ambassadors stare at each other, stare at you, stare at the terrified logic forming in their minds. No one, you say quietly, wants to start a firefight when a group of humans might wander in because they like the lighting. A shiver runs through the room. You finish. Humanity isn't waging war. We're waging curiosity, the galaxy's reluctant realization they can't deny it. Tourists have achieved something diplomats, warriors, and ancient treaties never could. They've forced the Veshtai and Huuri to share campsites, share markets, share roads. Because tourists want to walk 20 kilometers around a conflict zone when the direct path has better scenery. The Senate orders a test. Assign the human civilian as the official mediator. You, a historian, a tired soul who wants nothing more than a quiet desk and a cup of tea, but the galaxy has decided otherwise. The final scene of Part 1. You stand atop the glowing artillery relic, the same one that nearly started an interstellar incident, and you record your first official peacekeeping message. The Veshtai and Huuri ambassadors stand beside you, forced together only because the humans haven't stopped taking selfies for 3 days. You speak softly, the wind brushing past you like a whisper of things to come. This is just the beginning. If the galaxy wants peace, it must survive the most unstoppable force ever unleashed. You lift your camera. Humanity on vacation. And somewhere behind you, a tourist shouts, "Hey, can we get a group photo on the cannon?" Both alien ambassadors groan. You smile. Fade out. Let's slip quietly back into the galaxy, where peace is fragile, where cultures collide like drifting stars, and where you are becoming something dangerously close to a legend. Not a soldier, not a hero, just a human with a camera, a stubborn moral streak, and feet that keep wandering into places that were once too sacred for armies to tread. The strange thing? It's working, sort of, mostly. Okay, working is a generous word. But the galaxy has accepted one undeniable truth. Human civilians cannot be controlled, only guided, gently, firmly, constantly, and preferably with large warning signs and multilingual maps. The impossible assignment. You wake up on Porolon 4 to a message blinking on your comband. A seal spins across your wrist. Interstellar Senate. Mediation order priority level. Triple red, you groan. Triple red is normally reserved for supernova evacuation protocols or catastrophic diplomatic failures. You blink the message open. Human civilian historian. You are ordered to oversee cross-cultural peace tours beginning immediately. Veshtai and Huuri leadership will cooperate under Mandatory Compliance Clause 1-2G. Your heart sinks. Mandatory compliance? For two species who have hated each other since before the invention of fire-based cooking? You sit up on your cot, rubbing your face. The tent shakes slightly outside. Dozens of human tourists are packing drones, holocameras, and snacks for Day 4. Discover Porolon's ancient warfronts. You mutter under your breath, "They're going to kill me." A cheerful voice interrupts. "Oh, thank the stars you're awake. We have a problem." It's Yana, a human travel blogger whose followers number somewhere between a small nation and a religion. She's wearing a bright orange vest that says, "Galactic Cultural Liaison, Unofficial." Her smile is as unstoppable as a black hole. What happened? You ask. "Only a little thing," she says brightly. The Veshtai delegation tried to set up a meditation ritual at the same canyon overlook where the Huuri scheduled their traditional morning song. And the tourists? She winces. They thought it was a crossover cultural performance. You bury your face in your hands. Of course they did. And now, she continues, everyone wants you to mediate because you look responsible. You laugh, a little hysterically. If I look responsible, this galaxy is doomed. The canyon of two traditions, you arrive at the canyon just before sunrise. The Veshtai are glowing in agitated purples, hovering in silent geometric formation. The Huuri stand coiled and still, their bioluminescent markings dim in morning. And the humans, oh no, they're gathered in a semicircle with cameras ready, whispering things like, do they start at the same time? Which one is the opening act? I hope they harmonize. You step onto the center of the ridge. Everyone stop. Silence. A miracle. Even the tourists lower their cameras. You address the aliens first. Both of your traditions matter. Both deserve respect. And neither can function with an audience of confused humans who think this is a cultural festival. The Veshtai ambassador Varun flickers indignantly. Our ritual requires absolute serenity. The Huuri elder hisses softly. Our mourning requires solitude. You nod. Great, then we'll give you both. A chorus of tourists gasps behind you. Wait, both? But which do we watch? Is there a schedule? You raise a hand. No one watches anything. Not today. Not here. Groans of disappointment ripple through the humans. But the diplomats are listening. You continue. We're going to split the ridge. Veshtai take the eastern plateau for meditation. Huuri take the shaded alcove for mourning. And humans, you turn, you stare. You deliver the most important line of your entire mission. Are going on a guided nature walk 3 kilometers away. The collective groan is the loudest yet. One man raises his hand. But will there be snacks? You sigh. Yes, there will be snacks. Humanity cheers. The aliens stare at you with growing, reluctant respect. And for a brief, shining moment, peace holds. The first sign of real trouble. But peace doesn't last. Not on Porelon. Not in a galaxy where treaties bend under the weight of ancient grudges. Not when humans keep wandering into trouble like heat-seeking drama magnets. It begins at nightfall. You're sorting holologs in your tent when your comvan chirps. It's Yana again. She looks pale. You need to come to the western ridge. Right now, please. Your stomach tightens. Did tourists wander into sacred ruins again? No, worse. Did someone pet a carnivorous sand lizard? No, worse. You grab your recorder, your translator, and your sanity, what little remains, and run. The ridge is packed with tourists holding up flashlights. In the center, 2 figures stand in a tense circle of dust. A Veshtai warrior, glowing bright red with fury, and a Huuri champion, scales bristling. They are not diplomats, not peacekeepers. They are soldiers, illegal soldiers. Your breath catches. No armies are allowed, you whisper. Yana nods miserably. They didn't bring armies, just these 2. For personal reasons. You step forward. Why are you here? You ask the Veshtai. Its crystalline voice rings sharply. The Huuri violated sacred agreement. They placed a banner in the canyon sands without permission. You turn to the Huuri champion. We placed it because the land is ours by ancestral right. And your right expired when your ancestors lost the 3rd Spiral War. At least our ancestors didn't freeze during meditation. At least ours didn't shed scales every time someone sneezed. Tourists gasp. A few record. One whispers, this is way better than the drama tour on Delta 9. You raise both hands. Stop. No one is fighting. Not here. The Veshtai warrior steps closer. Human, you have no authority over sacred combat. The Huuri hisses. And your people complicate everything merely by existing. Maybe they're right. But you also know something the galaxy is still learning. Humanity's greatest weapon isn't violence. It's unpredictability. So you take a deep breath and say the most unhinged words possible. Then follow human law. They blink. You continue. Trial by collective inconvenience. Confusion spreads like wildfire. A tourist murmurs, "Is that a real thing?" "No," you whisper back. "But it is now." You step between the warriors. Both of you will follow a human tradition. Rock, paper, scissors. The Veshtai flicker violently. The sacred conflict must be settled by combat. The Huri hisses. "This insult is unacceptable." You raise an eyebrow. "You want to use combat? Fine. But the humans will gather around you. They will film. They will ask questions. They will cheer. They will take selfies. They will not understand boundaries. They will get dangerously close because they want better shots. And if either of you injure a human, both warriors freeze. You smile softly. Rock, paper, scissors? And unbelievably, in the dust of a battlefield older than many star systems, two ancient enemies lift their hands, one crystalline, one scaled, and begin to mimic a children's game from Earth. Fists pound, hands flick. On the third count, Veshtai throws scissors. Huri throws paper. The gasp from the crowd of tourists is thunderous. The Veshtai warrior stands victorious. The Huri champion bows bow, a gesture impossible under ordinary circumstances. You stare at the scene, stunned. Humanity, you think, has done it again. The news spreads across the galaxy. Within hours, footage of the event goes viral across the interstellar datanet. Ancient rivalry settled by human game. No armies? No problem humans weaponize playfulness. The rock, paper, scissors accord. Millions of aliens watch, horrified. Millions more watch, fascinated. The Senate calls for an emergency review of human conflict resolution strategies. A message arrives for you. Human civilian, your mediation method is unconventional. Continue. You lean back in your tent, staring at the stars outside. You didn't ask for this job? You didn't ask to be a peacekeeper. You didn't ask to have an entire galaxy watching your every move. But here you are. And the universe has a wicked sense of humor. The shift in the wind for a few glorious days, things stabilize. Tourists stay mostly within designated zones. Veshtai and Huri delegations hold joint market stalls. Humans help with construction, photography, documentation. You start to feel there, you say at hope. But then night falls on the seventh day. A storm gathers over the southern ridge, and a new ship descends through the clouds, sleek, dark, unfamiliar. It does not bear Veshtai markings, nor Huri, nor human. It lands silently outside the main encampment. Ambassadors gather in fear. Tourists gather in curiosity. You step forward as the ramp lowers, and for the first time since arriving on Porolon, you feel something colder than war. Something older, something planned. A figure emerges in gray diplomatic armor. Its voice is calm, calculated, and terrifyingly neutral. "I represent the coalition of Strategia," it says. "We have come to restore proper order." You swallow. "Are you diplomats?" "No." "Peacekeepers?" "No." "Soldiers?" It pauses. "Technically." "No." Your heart stops. "Then what are you?" The figure steps closer. Behind it, dozens more emerge unarmed, but trained, disciplined, and clearly dangerous. "We are tacticians, not an army, not combatants. A strategic advisory corps designed to navigate your loopholes." Behind you, the tourists whisper nervously. Behind them, the Veshtai and Huri shift uncertainly. You breathe out, slow and shaky. The galaxy has sent something new. Not an army, not diplomats. Something designed to counter humanity's chaos. something that sees tourists not as a curiosity, but as a threat. And they are looking straight at you. Settle in again, because this final part is where the galaxy stops laughing at tourists and starts fearing them. The storm still hangs low over Porolon 4, lightning flickering along the horizon like the very clouds are nervous. The newly arrived strategia tacticians stand in perfect formation unarmed, but radiating the kind of discipline that civilizations develop only after losing too many wars. And at the center of it all, you stand barefoot in the alien dust with your camera hanging from its strap, feeling horribly underqualified for whatever is about to happen. The strategic corps makes its move. The lead tactician, gray armor, gray eyes, gray personality, steps forward. "We have reviewed the situation," he says. "Human civilians are unintentionally destabilizing the region." A human tourist behind you chimes in helpfully. "We prefer the phrase energetically enriching, actually." The tactician ignores them. "Due to the interstellar No Armies Accord, neither we nor anyone else may deploy formal troops. But we are legally permitted to operate as civil strategic counselors. We will take over all conflict mitigation duties on Porolon 4. You cross your arms." And what happens to the tourists? They will be returned to human space immediately. The gasp is universal. From humans, from Vesh-Tai, from Huuri, even the wind seems offended. A teenager shouts, "But I bought a 3-week destination pass." A senior citizen clutches her camera. "I didn't come 12 light years for nothing." Someone yells, "You'll have to drag us back to the shuttle." And honestly, given humanity's track record, they probably mean it. You take a slow breath. You can't order civilians off a legally open planet. The tactician narrows his eyes. We can if they pose a threat to regional stability. A Huuri elder slithers forward defensively. The humans stopped more conflicts this week than our diplomats have in a century. The Vesh-Tai ambassador glows in agreement. Removing them would restore war. The tacticians observe the two ancient enemies, standing side by side, unified in panic, unified in the one thing they both truly fear, losing their human buffer. The strategist-in-chief gestures, dismissive. Alien sentiment is noted, but we operate by data-driven logic. We have studied human behavior. We have calculated countermeasures to civilian chaos. Yana, your resident travel blogger, whispers, "Oh no, they think they understand humans." That's when you realize they're not here to help. They're here because humanity, peaceful, curious, distracting humanity, has accidentally done the one thing the galaxy never expected. We made war impossible. And some groups desperately want war back. The tactical quarantine by next morning, Porolon 4 looks different. Fences go up, checkpoints appear. Scan drones hover overhead like judgmental fireflies. The tacticians herd tourists like sheep politely, firmly, relentlessly. Please remain behind the yellow line. Please do not photograph that. Please refrain from entering sacred ruins. Please don't feed the biomech fauna. No, absolutely no climbing artillery monuments. Humans don't handle rules well. Within 10 minutes, a group of hikers has already crossed 3 restricted zones to get a better view of a sunset that hasn't even happened yet. Within an hour, a vlogger is accidentally inside a military bunker. Within 2 hours, an elderly couple has befriended a carnivorous 6-legged sand predator, now named Mr. Fluffy. The tacticians are overwhelmed. Their data models predict nothing correctly. Their containment fails instantly. Their perfectly logical systems collapse like a wet sandcastle. You watch from a hillside as the strategist stares down at a hollow tablet, horrified. These statistics, they cannot be accurate. You pat him on the back. They are. Welcome to human tourism. The spark of real danger around midday, a Vesh-Tai courier arrives in a panic. The Huuri have mobilized sacred banners again. You freeze. War banners, symbolic, historic, but usually followed by violence within days. You run to the canyon with your human entourage trailing behind you, some out of curiosity, some because they assume this is part of the tour package. Huari champions stand in ritual rows, banners planted, chanting ancient hymns. Their coils shine with purpose. A Veshtai scouting line gathers nearby, glowing in rising agitation. The tacticians move fast. They form a tight formation along the ridge, analyzing, strategizing, calculating. The humans must be removed immediately. The lead strategist says. Their proximity increases misinterpretation probability. He's not wrong. Humans are already taking pictures with the banners, posing between the Huari lines like it's some kind of cultural celebration. This will ignite conflict in minutes. You step forward. No, removing the humans makes it worse. They're preventing both sides from attacking. Impossible, the strategist says. Watch. A human family walks right through the Huari battle line. Right through. The Huari stop, freeze mid-chant. Don't want to bump anyone's camera. Then tourists wander over to the Veshtai side, touching glowing crystals, asking awkward questions, admiring war artifacts as if they're museum pieces. A battlefield becomes a photo zone. No one can fight. Not without hitting at least 50 civilians who genuinely think this is a cultural festival. The strategist looks like he's malfunctioning. This defies all tactical logic. You nod. Humanity usually does. The moment of betrayal, but peace is fragile, and the tacticians didn't come alone. A hidden signal cracks across the ridge. Your cum band hisses. Then a distant thunder. A low shake. A shimmer on the southern horizon. You turn. Ships, sleek, dark, fast. A second wave of strategy operatives, disguised as logistics staff, deploys a set of devices around the canyon's small metallic tripods, humming with contained energy. You know what they are. Field amplifiers, not weapons, but designed to force movement, designed to scatter crowds, designed to clear tourists. The strategist raises a hand. When civilians are removed, hostilities can resume naturally. Balance will be restored. You step back in horror. You want war. Conflict is necessary for strategic evolution. The Veshtai ambassador flickers violently. You will doom us. The Huari hiss in outrage. You bring death to a cradle of heritage. Tourists, who have no idea what's happening, begin recording the confrontation as if it's a live drama broadcast. You whisper, "We can't let them activate those amplifiers." Yana steps beside you. "Then we stop them." You blink. "How?" "By asking nicely." She smirks. "No, by doing what humans do best." You stare at her. "Chaos?" She nods proudly. "Chaos." The tourist uprising, you raise your camera and shout, "Hey everyone, free photo op. Limited time only." Every human on the canyon ridge turns at once. You point toward the tacticians' amplifier positions. Best spot for pictures is over there. The stampede is instant. Hundreds of humans rush toward the amplifiers, not attacking, not protesting, just enthusiastically trying to get better angles. The tacticians try to hold them back. They fail, spectacularly. A woman hugs an amplifier tripod because she thinks it's a local sculpture. A child draws smiley faces on one with glow chalk. A group of hikers blocks a tactician's access entirely by setting up a picnic around it. Every carefully placed device becomes buried under. Backpacks, juice, bottles, selfie, drones, sun hats, and extremely stubborn grandmothers. The tacticians panic. Get them away. Get them away. We must activate the field. Why are they climbing the equipment? Because humans climb everything, especially forbidden's equipment. You watch the battlefield transform. The strategically planned operation collapses under the weight of cheerful obliviousness. The amplifiers overload. Their circuits fry under accidental interference. One tactician trips over a cooler full of sandwiches and faceplants into the sand. Yana whispers, "Humanity wins again?" The turning point, but the strategist isn't finished. He pulls out a final command module, a failsafe. Not a weapon, but something that will override the local CUM network and trigger evacuation drones to forcibly extract every human civilian. You can't let that happen. If humans leave, the Veshtai and Huuri will fall back into war instantly. You approach the strategist slowly. "Stop," you say. "You have no idea what conflict on this world will reignite." He lifts the module. Peace is a delay. Conflict is evolution. This planet must resume its natural state. And then, a shadow falls across both of you. A massive shape rises. Scales ripple. Crystals glow. The Huuri champion and the Veshtai warrior, the same two who once played rock, paper, scissors under your mediation, step forward, together, unified. The Huuri hisses, "We were wrong to distrust humans." The Veshtai glows warmly. They see our worlds with childlike wonder. And because of this, we remember what we forgot. Both of them place their weapons, symbols of a 1,000-year war on the sand. We choose peace. You turn to the strategist. You hear that? They choose peace. War isn't evolution. Understanding is. The strategist hesitates. Then he speaks. "You humans will destabilize the entire galaxy." You smile gently. "Only the parts that need it. The final resolution, the tacticians withdraw. Not because they respect humanity. Not because they understand peace. But because their logic cannot comprehend a battlefield impossible to control." Porolon IV is declared a protected cultural zone. Humans may visit freely. So may Veshtai and Huuri families, scholars, artisans. A joint treaty forms, the Canyon Accord forged not in blood, but in selfies, confusion, and unexpected friendship. You stand one last time on the glowing artillery relic. Tourists gather for pictures. Veshtai play shimmering music. Huuri perform gentle dance rites. The two species laugh together for the first time in centuries. You record your final hololog. Maybe peace doesn't always come from strength. Maybe sometimes peace comes from curiosity, from asking questions, from exploring. A little girl tugs your sleeve. "Mister, can we climb the relic now?" You laugh softly. Carefully, the sun sets. The tourists cheer. And as the stars rise over Porolon 4, one truth becomes clear. When the galaxy banned human armies, humanity sent something far more dangerous, more unstoppable, more transformative. It sent people curious, chaotic, fearless, beautifully human. And peace, strange, improbable peace followed.